According to Medellin's Plan de Ordenamiento Territorial, the Comuna 8, Villa Hermosa, is composed by 18 neighborhoods. Nevertheless, if you go around asking, people will tell you that the neighborhoods established by the government are not the official ones, because they've created their own neighborhoods with their own limits to which they feel part of. The communities that inhabit the Comuna are also different, that it is unusual and very confusing to the eye. Ask them about how they ended up living in Villa Hermosa, and they will tell you about how in the 1940s and then in the 1980s, with the increase of war and guerrillas in the rural areas, they were forced to migrate, ending up occupying the steepest, most unsafe spaces of the hills located in the periphery of the city sector that their acquaintances lived in. The 1990s came around, and due to overpopulation, the socio-economic problems of the Comuna started to be very evident. People had a terrible quality of life. Their houses were so unstable that they would easily fall. Mobility was as problematic as climbing up steep stairs and suffering on the way up in the bus. The Comuna was plagued with violence and drug dealing, scaring everyone to no ends. And most importantly, they had little to no access to services that satisfied their basic needs, such as potable water. The story of how the problem regarding water in the Comuna was solved begins with two big farms, Las Golondrinas, and as the locals like to call it, Los Ataúdes. Right in these farms, the two main streams that used to feed water to the Comuna emerged and flowed down into the Medellin River. In the journey to become part of the river, the streams were in charge of providing clean water to Villahermosa's inhabitants, and in that way, they kept people alive by satisfying their needs. Problem was that as time kept going on, more people kept on arriving, and the water supply from the streams was no longer vast nor clean enough. Since construction increased massively, bringing along pollution, and it's not exactly like inhabitants lived under the best sanitary conditions, the water supply was no longer potable, meaning that it wasn't useful for drinking or cooking. Additionally, the streams were now in charge of providing water for way more people than they could, meaning that their job wasn't being properly done. Sadly, people inhabiting the Comuna kept on living in these very harsh water-lacking conditions for years, and it wasn't until much later, around 2008 to 2011, that the government finally did something for those they could. Around this time, and thanks to the services provided by EPM, a connection between the city center's public service stations and the Comuna started being built. With this project, the minimum necessary amount of potable water was fulfilled for nearly 70% of the Comuna's families. Nevertheless, the government claimed that the houses built on unstable, unfit territories were inaccessible, leaving the 30% of the population to fend for themselves.
Y el agua viene de un nacimiento de agua que es de la montaña.
Y entonces todas estas casas cómo
bueno,
hacen?
el sector sí, bueno, el sector tiene parte que es de EPM, eso que está arriba donde se ve el enmayado, ahí encimita hay un acueducto, es muy nuevo, el barrio anteriormente utilizaba agua veredal, agua de las mismas quebradas, y el alcantarillado de todos estos barrios en sus inicios fueron las mismas quebradas, ellos hacían zanjas o llevaban tubos hacia la quebradera donde depositaban las aguas negras. Ya ahorita con el proyecto se instalaron 1,5 kilómetros de alcantarillados y el acueducto y ya los envíos.
¿Y eso fue hace cuánto?
Eso apenas hace un año que se inauguró el tanque de agua.
After Aníbal Gaviria became mayor, the number of families with access to potable water increased to 80%, percentage that to this day remains. Nevertheless, his prime focus was on projects regarding social sustainability such as the Cinturón Verde, making the Comuna's inhabitants unhappy. When asked, they said that they couldn't understand why the government would rather invest in beautiful projects that they could enjoy but not benefit from than on giving them access to basic public services such as water and electricity, or on the construction of hospitals.
But I know there's sunshine behind that rain. I know there's good times behind that pain. Hey, can you tell me how I can make a change? I close my eyes.